Particular day, I was feeling just extremely down bad. You know, this is around the time I'd been watching like 4 or 5.
Oh my gosh. You will never goon after hearing what I did. Shamefully did. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys fell for what he fell for, genuinely, you need to go get some help.
Afternoon in the summer holidays, and I'm laying on my bed reading a message from a girl that just 5 minutes before I believed to be the same age as me, threatening to send certain pictures of myself.
Send 500 right now, or I'll send all of them to your followers. See, if you fall for the Snapchat method, they need to send that shit to your followers. First off, you gotta check the Snap score. Anything below, I want to say 10,000, even at 10,000, I want to say like 50. Anything below 50, scammer. Don't even reply. To send pictures of yourself to a strangers? Ooh. Y'all some experienced
all of
gooners.
my Instagram followers, including family members, if I didn't send her $500 right away.
Let me guess, he sent it.
To understand how I got myself in this situation, let me take you back to where it all began. It's 2020. I've just started high school.
How did Gooning get you into this situation? No. Gooning did not get you into this situation. You got yourself into this situation. You decided to send whatever pictures you decided to send to whoever you sent them to. Old man, some kid trying to get rich. You never know who it is behind the screen no more, bro.
And I've been getting a lot more attention from girls than I ever
Then go get attention from the girls IRL.
had before. And because of this increased amount of attention, my mindset began to become a lot more geared towards, dating girls, losing my V card, all that sort of thing. So fast forward to one Wednesday afternoon in early March, I've organised to go to the park and link up with this girl named Clara with my best mate Crocker. Now, just to give you a brief little backstory on Clara, I'd had a little talking stage, I guess you'd call it, at the beginning of the year, but typically as these things go, 12, 13 years old, it just didn't work out. But nonetheless, we were still friends. So Crocker and I walked to the park, and upon arriving, we see that Clara is actually with one of her best friends named Alice. Now, I had Alice on Snapchat, but I'd never actually seen her in real life. So I didn't know what she looked like up until that point. But upon seeing her, she's hands down like 100 times more attractive than what I pictured her to be. I was expecting her to be some absolute ogre. The best way I can put it is she looked a lot older in all the ways that matter to a young man's mind, you know what I mean? So instantly I become locked onto the idea that I'm gonna date this girl, right? I literally said in my head at the time, I'm gonna date Alice. So hang out with Clara and Alice for the afternoon. And after talking to Alice for a bit, the vibe I'm sort of getting off of her is like super cute, sweet.
He's low-key getting off topic here, bro. How did Gooning cause this?
But just a couple months later, I would find out how deceiving that appearance truly was. Gets to around 5:30 p.m. and Crocker and I decide it's probably a good time to go back to his. And as we're walking back to Crocker's house, I'm just yapping his ear off about how I'm gonna date Alice, how hot she is, this and that. And I'm just G'ing myself up. And he's like, yeah, he's heard it all before. We get back to Crocker's house and I decide that I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, right? So I ring up Clara on FaceTime, obviously don't have Alice's number, and I say to her that I'm gonna date Alice. Alice is gonna be my girlfriend. I'm just saying it with such fucking certainty and confidence, right? And obviously Alice hears this in the background, being nearby, and she says that she has a boyfriend. And that's when I proceed to say with, once again, 100% confidence, oh, that doesn't matter, he doesn't have to know, which of course isn't right. But upon saying this, like I was sort of saying it in a joking way, but she says, all right. Like she actually agrees with me. He doesn't have to know. And so Alice and I start talking pretty much every single day from this point onwards, which of course I should have seen as a red flag from the jump. Now, before we move forward in the story, I must say that at this point in time, I was only watching like 3 or 4 times a week. At the absolute worst, it was probably like once a day.
3 or 4 times a week is crazy. Again, he was 13.
But something would very soon happen that would lead me down a path of complete addiction to it. Of course, I'm getting to that. What's cracking, brother? I'll let you get back to the video in just a second, but really quickly, hit the sub button, son, because every single one of you who are subscribed are literally the ones who make these videos possible every single day.
Gango, you fell for the Snapchat method. We ain't hitting subscribe, bro. But go ahead and hit subscribe for me, though. Unless you want to be touched and you'll sleep, bud.
We're currently approaching 100,000 subs, so do me a fucking favor, hit it right now, I'll let you get back to the story. It gets to one night in early June, and I've organised for my close mate Rufus to come around my house. Obviously, if you're a regular viewer, this is before all the shit happened with him. And given that we were still fairly innocent at this point in time, you know, neither of us were 13 years old yet, our plans for this night were to essentially just camp out the side of my house in the tent, eat lollies and drink fizzy drinks, right? So we're sitting in my room just kicking back before we actually decide to go out to the tent. And it's around 8:45 we decide that we're gonna give Alice a ring because she's with her friend Clara, who Rufus happened to fancy, right? So we ring them up, they answer straight away, and we're sort of just talking to them about what they're up to for the night. I'm not exactly sure how we pivoted into this conversation, but somehow it comes up that Alice's dad is out of town, which meant it was just her mum home, she wasn't strict at all, and that we could come over later that night. Now, as soon as we hear this, obviously being young lads, we get G'd the fuck up for a multitude of reasons. There was such a sense of novelty about sneaking out and going to places when your parents didn't know. It was like you had complete freedom. So Rufus and I agree that we're gonna link up with Alice and Clara later that night after my parents go to bed. Around 20 minutes past 9, we head out to the tent. You know, we're just sitting there playing the waiting game. We knew that we'd be able to leave the house once all of the lights were off and we'd said goodnight to my parents. Right, so we just kick back in the tent for a little bit, but it gets to around 12:30 a.m. By this point, we've well and truly said goodnight to mum and dad. They're in bed. And Rufus and I both decide it's a good time to head off on our scooters to Alice's suburb. Now, just bearing in mind, June in Australia is the very start of winter, so around this time it was like -1 degree Celsius, which is cold as fuck. But nonetheless, you know, nothing was gonna stop your boy in the relentless pursuit of the shorties. So Rufus and I slowly creep down my driveway with our scooters in our hand, and as soon as we get to the road, we put them on the tar, we start riding up. But around 20 past 1, Rufus and I pull up to Alice's street. I get out my phone, I message her, so like, are we all good to come inside? I'm out the front. But she says, you know, her mum's just been up, we can't come in just yet because she might hear us and kick us out straight away. So Rufus and I walk across the road to the park, which is right across from Alice's house, and just chill on the bench waiting. But around 10 minutes
Yo, low-key, why he blur the background? It looks peaceful as hell. Low-key, though.
after this, Alice gives me a call and says, you guys can come in, but you gotta be super quiet. We get into Alice's room and, you know, tuck ourselves under the covers, get all warm. Rufus is laying there with Clara, having a chat to her. Meanwhile, I'm having a chat with Alice. And I would say around an hour and a half into being at Alice's house, I'm having a bit of a talk off to the side with her. And she says that she loves me. Now, we'd said this to one another before, but it was only really over text and it felt very immature. The fuck was that? That cow just sneezed. But this was the first time I'd ever heard it in person, which felt significant to me at the time. So of course, you know, say it back. But I remember thinking in this very moment that this would be the girl that I'd go on to date and then, you know, lose my V card to, potentially even marry one day. And I just can't believe how fucking delusional I was, bro, because that thought could not have been further from the truth, which
it's
of
a
course
canon
I'm
event,
to.
brother.
Fast forward to one Friday night in late June. By this
switch.
point, I've asked Alice to be my girlfriend probably 3 or 4 times. And every single time she turned me down, she says she's just not ready yet. She's not sure, she loves me, but she doesn't want things to end badly. I never knew what the fuck she was talking about. But in just a couple of hours' time, I would soon find out why she'd been so hesitant to get into a relationship with me. On this particular night, I'd organised to go up to my mate Donnie's house, which his yard is just in the background there, and, you know, just spend a bit of time with him, his mate Clive, and my best mate Crocker. So Crocker and I walk up the road to Donnie's house, and, you know, it's really good at first. We're just vibing, having a few bevies, listening to some music. But I would say like 2 hours into being there, you know, feeling a bit of a buzz by this point. I'm standing there having a yarn with Donnie's mate Clive, and Clive asks me if I've been talking to anyone. Now, given how attractive I found Alice at the time, I was super fucking proud to, you know, show off that she was, I guess, like my girlfriend, or I was talking to her at least. And so I say, yeah, I've been talking to Alice for like 3 months now. She's a really good chick, this and that. Like, I'm speaking very highly of her. And that's when Clive says to me, like, are you serious? I say, yeah. why is that? Like, he thinks I'm joking. And he goes, bruh, she's the biggest. I'm sort of like, what? Like, is this guy being serious? Like, is he trying to start beef with me or something? I say, why? Why is that? Like, why would you say that? Clive proceeds to...
What does this have to do with you gooning? Yo, I'm low-key finna skip. I'm not gonna watch this whole 20-minute video, bro, low-key. Because, like, what does this video even have to do with you gooning, low-key?
On this particular day, I was feeling just extremely down bad. You know, this is around the time I'd been watching like 4 or 5.
Oh my gosh. Let's read the comments, bro. It takes balls of steel to post stuff like this on YouTube. You're the GOAT, bro. Okay. Lust has even defeated the most powerful. Lust has even defeated the most powerful. I'm never gooning again, gang. I quit. Did you actually? Jahams P60. Post nut clarity hit. That's funny. How did gooning? He still didn't make sense of how gooning did that.
Times a day, I'd been watching it in the morning as soon as I wake up.
Oh my gosh.
I was not in a good headspace. So as she starts talking to me, I actually don't want her to go away. Like, I'm happy with her being here talking to her because I don't really have many people to talk to at this point in time. But as I'm talking to her...
Yo, opening up the hub off wake up is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. You wake up, you first open your eyes and you're already... Yeah.
Where somehow the fucked up thought pops into my mind of go. Now, I don't exactly remember what persuaded me against that decision because she would have straight away been down if I said about it. But I make the decision not to do that, you know. But fast forward to early 2023. I'm sitting in the car on the way downtown to do a photo shoot for my clothing brand that I'd started at the time when I receive an Instagram follow and a Snapchat ad from this girl who looks, you know, reasonably similar age to me. And so I add her back. And immediately she's asking me questions about myself. She's trying to get to know me, but she starts making her intentions very well known. You know, she's being very provocative with...
Some hoe. Gang, I hope that's not the actual footage.
Things she's saying and sending. And it's clear to me that she wants some sort of relationship with me, or she wants me to...
You don't even know her. See, some of y'all deserve to get scammed.
Send certain things to her. And so I get downtown, you know, I do the photo shoot, all that sort of thing. But when I come home, I sort of just lay on my bed, you know, I'm editing up a couple of photos to post on Instagram from the shoot. When she starts sending me just straight out, you know, like basically, and as I'm looking at it, you know, I'm just getting G'd the fuck up. I'm saying to her, like, send more, this and that. But after she sent probably 2 or 3, she tells me that I have to
your
send
turn,
something.
gang. It's your turn. What you want to see? I want to see that ass. I want to see that ass. Yo, genuinely, I had a girl. There was somebody that, sort of, but I didn't fall for it. They added me on Snapchat. You feel me? I have some of my football stuff, you know, posted on there. I love me football. I love me a nigga who play football. I'm like, she texted me that. I'm like, okay, what's up with you then, baby? She said, do you send though? I'm trying to see something. I'm like, what? Yo. And I'm like, yo, nah. And, you know, I kind of wanted to get something out of it. So I said, yo, how about you send me something first? She sent me a little something. I'm like, okay. And then she said, your turn. I was like, what you want to see? She said, booty cheese. I didn't respond, gang. The fuck?
Back in order for her to keep sending them. Now, obviously, I'm not a fuckwit, so I'm not going to send some random stranger photographs that are going to exist out there forever, right? Not a dumb despite what you may think. And so I go onto Google, cut out some stickers on Snapchat.
Oh my gosh.
And I start sending them to this girl, right? So we're going back and forth with one another. Now that I'm sending her some, she's sending me some. But I would say around 2 hours into being back at home, you know, snapping this girl, she sends me a photo that had been taken from another phone of the Snapchats that I'd sent her. Now, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, what sort of fucking elaborate scam is this? And the message that follows all of these photos is a screenshot of every single one of my Instagram followers, coupled with a text demanding I send her $500 or else she's going to send it to all of my followers.
It's
Now,
not you,
thankfully,
though.
I wasn't a fuckwit and I didn't send her anything that would actually expose me to any level of danger. And so after this, I sort of feel like I've got the upper hand.
Genuinely,
You
they
know,
can hit that. They can send it. Come verify that it's my shit. Come verify. Come verify. If I ever, you know, I'm never gonna be in this situation. But if I'm ever in this situation, come verify that it's me. Come verify that it's genuinely my shit. Come verify. Pull up to my crib. Pull up to my crib. Pull my pants down. Come verify. Come verify that's me. That little at me, man. Come on.
send her a message saying, how fucking stupid are you to believe that
I'm
this
done, bro. Like, how did Gooning do this to you? That's not gooning, bro. It's just lust, bro. You got to control that shit, bro.